with the opportunity for a Hollywood finish will take the 250.
Phoenix, there they go, down to the bottom, 4 or 5 wide. Let's see if they can all keep it together. But Jacob Barker.
Remember last year when they ran the Weenie 500, they streamed it on YouTube, on their YouTube channel? Mm-hmm. They're bringing it to TV this year.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, have a little bit of a shout out for L. Langley because tonight we are choosing Texas here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Lone Star 75 presented by Scene Media Productions. Should be a great race for us as we head to the first intermediate track on the schedule, that being a mile and a half. We're going to go ahead and take a quick look at that track info for you all tonight here at Texas Motor Speedway. Located in Fort Worth, Texas in the United States, opened in 1996. As I mentioned earlier, it's a mile and a half track. Notable 20 degrees of banking ends turn 1 and 2, with 24 degrees of banking ends turn 3 and 4. 40-minute practice session wrapping up in the next minute or so. That'll be followed by a 5-minute qualification period, with the race being 75 laps. Important note, cautions are enabled for tonight for the Wednesday Night Dash Series, so anytime there's a wreck, expect that yellow flag to be thrown out, and we stack this field back up. Going a little bit back up towards those notable degrees of banking, 4 degrees might not seem like that much, but with these trucks, it can make all the difference. Expect the guys to be coming out of the gas and cruising and coasting just a little bit, maybe braking even later in the run. 4 turns 1 and 2. Meanwhile, that 4 degrees of banking ends turn 3 and 4. Allow these drivers to be full throttle the entire time through the corner. Makes Texas a little unique in that sense. Doesn't really have the multi-groove racing that we're used to seeing out of similar intermediate tracks such as Kansas and Las Vegas, but it does make up for it for that draft style turns 3 and 4. So expect these guys to be on each other's bumpers pretty much throughout the night. As you can see, there might be some pushing, some shoving. Should be aggressive to say the least. Like I said earlier, it is pretty close to a one lane track for the most part. That lane being the bottom of the racetrack. You can kind of make the second groove work, but it really doesn't have quite the speed, especially the higher you go up the track. So the best way to pass someone is just apply pressure as much as you can and hope they make a mistake. Expect turn 2 to be a giant passing zone. These trucks seem to be on the looser side, wanting to spin out at the first start of a run, but expect these guys to be fighting some tight conditions by the time this race gets towards the end of our 75 lap stint. As we take a quick look over at the driver standings, you can see after just 2 races so far, Tyler Chaney in the number 1 leads with 72 points. Garrett Jarnigan there in second. Barker, 3-way tie for second between Garrett Jarnigan, Jacob Barker, and Mark Vickers. 5th place is Jax Malin, Colton Gardner in 6th. Tyler Lugo Vickery in 7th. Lane Snow in 8th. And then Bill Mulfield and Nick Warboy are tied for 9th. Which that wraps up your top 10. You can see the rest of the drivers there listed. Taking a quick look at those team standings, too, to go along with that. Team Extreme, led by Tyler Chaney, who's currently first in individual points. Team Extreme is first in points, followed by SMR, Appalachian Mountain Autosport, JM Motorsports, Blue Ridge Racing, and then FR Racing rounding out your 6 teams. Say about 3 minutes left for these drivers to get everything kind of figured out. It's important to note for this track, this is actually the first visit we've made at Texas Motor Speedway. In the truck specifically, we have had 3 Cup Series visits in 22, 24, and then in 2025 we had an O'Reilly visit. It's important to note too, when you look at those point standings, that the early season road course what we had last week has completely flipped the standings, with drivers who have been sitting at the top typically are further down than they are used to. Dawson Buchanan, who's a 5-time series champion, he's tied for 11th right now. Hunter Hughes, also previous 2-time champion, I believe, he's tied for 13th, and Chris Fuge, who was the 3rd place in last season's series standings, is tied for 19th right now. So a lot of mixing and matching. Whenever we had the wrecks we had in the first week at Atlanta, and then followed by the road course, those seasoned veterans that you're used to seeing at the top of those driver standings have found their way kind of towards the bottom if we take one more look at them. It has allowed some guys to start to pull away, as Tyler Chaney's had 2 back-to-back great finishes, winning last week as well. Really bumped him about 11-point gap. You can see there even between him and 2nd place. So a lot of racing left though, still 8 races including this one. So expect some good battles to be coming up, especially here at Texas Motor Speedway. Before we get things rolling too far, go ahead and quickly shout out the most recent Garage Talk episode. Join FR Racing's DJ Fluck and Eric Richardson for an all-new episode of FR Racing's Garage Talk. On this week's episode, they open the show with a tribute to Bob Kevioin of the Bob and Tom Show, who passed away recently after a 3-year battle with cancer. Bob was a radio legend and a huge inspiration for Eric and DJ growing up. In addition, they go over Carson Hocevar's breakthrough win at Talladega, Indy 500 month preview, and some drama in the iRacing League world. Subscribe to FR Racing's Garage Talk wherever you download your favorite podcast. And there's that episode right there for you all. About a minute left in qualification. We'll go ahead and get that stuff pulled up for you to see where everyone's lining up. See there right now, Connor Fuge is actually leading this. What could be his first pole. See, he is the 19 car. Hunter Hughes, you can see how close it is between 1st and 2nd and 3rd even, with 2 1/1000ths of a second between 1st and 2nd, separates the front row. Should be a pretty crazy start for these drivers. Said track position is pretty key. Drivers are required to make a pit stop for gas, so can't make it on fuel. When do you pit is the big question. Typically, if I had to imagine, they'll pit whenever the first caution comes out. That should be enough. As long as we get around 20 laps in, the first caution should allow them to pit and make it the rest of the way on fuel. Tires really start to feel their wear around laps 35 to lap 40, so keep an eye out. Some drivers might try to pit early around lap 30 to see if they can make it up on the longer run. But expect that if this thing does stay green the entire time, expect pit stops to be happening around that lap 35 to 40 mark. Let's see if we can't talk to our pole sitter, Connor Fuge, and see if we can get a quick look at him. There's the pole sitter. Let's give him a ring. Connor Fuge, driver of the 19. This is John Miles in the booth. You got me?
What is up, John?
Starting on pole here at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm not quite sure. You could correct me. Feel free to correct me, but I believe this is your first pole Wednesday night dash on an intermediate track at the very least.
I think it's my first pole in total.
First pole in total. Truck must be feeling pretty quick underneath you, underneath those 4 wheels. A lot of veterans behind you, but at the same time, I know you have a strong support group behind you, but what's the plan tonight going into this thing to see if you can't finish where you start after the 75 laps?
Honestly, survive. I know turn one's gonna be fun when we're all bunched up with everyone probably sending it in a bit deeper and all that. So there's always that, and then just be consistent.
You've got a somewhat of a teammate, a satellite teammate per se, to your right-hand side. Is there any antics going on with him to try to get you guys both clear, or is it just going to see who comes out of turn 2 first?
I think it's just gonna be a race. I mean, I'm gonna race him hard, but I'm gonna race him.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us in the booth. Good luck on this restart. We'll hope to see you at
Yeah,
the end of
thank
this
you.
thing.
Hopefully.
And that was Blue Ridge Racing's team owner, Connor Fuge, number 19. As you can see, he is starting on pole for this race. I guess that should be an action-packed race, to say the least. Pace lights are already off. We won't have any more additional laps. They'll come to pit road this time by. Pretty packed field tonight. Don't have quite everybody, but 24 cars will be gridded. I believe our biggest field so far has been 28. So most of the field's here. A couple middle people out. For sure, the number 5 with Wayne Snow did not make it. Having PC trouble, so hope to see him back next week for Daytona. But he is 8th in points, so unfortunately that will probably take him out of the top 10 in points. As I mentioned, pace lights are off on that Ford Mustang as he pulls off pace or pulls onto pit road. The 19 will lead us to green as they enter the restart zone, and green flag is out. Huge run there on the outside by Hunter Hughes and Dawson Buchanan. Great push there, as you can see. The 18 has cleared himself now. The 4 is side by side, not too much farther behind him. With the 19, we'll have to see if he can get himself clear. As I mentioned earlier, that bottom lane is the preferred line, so we'll have to see if they can get this worked out here. As the 4 is way above the track, a huge run there by the 19. As the 19 is then cleared for the lead. Battle now between the 18 and the 4. The 4 right now has the nose. We'll have to see if he can get himself clear going in the corner. Is clear, able to clear down. The 91 of Aiden O'Neill, a teammate of the leader right now, the 19. Great run out of him right now. As there's a lot of side-by-side action right here towards the front of this pack. Even farther in the pack, you can see there's a huge battle right now. As all these guys, you can see the season champ Colton Gardner there in the 40, just trying to get stuff worked out here. He does get himself clear. 2 teammates back there with Tyler Rouse in the 82 for Team Extreme right now, getting stuff worked out. As I mentioned earlier, the draft is super, super important at this track. Dawson Buchanan has taken the lead in all of this. We'll have to see if he can drive away just enough to break that draft. Otherwise, the draft will keep the rest of the field in contention for the time being. A lot of laps, so you can see that wide entrance to the corner as he comes down the track. Those other drivers are taking a lot lower of an entrance. You have to wonder what kind of tire wear that might be causing on these drivers. So they're starting to get single file back out there. We'll take a look back in the pack. There is a 3 wide move right now, as the 33 of Nick Warboy is trying to make that top line work. Really unconventional line, as you can see, not quite the momentum he was looking for to get by the 28 in front of him, but does slot in front of the 33 and the 21. Still a lot of battles going on right now. So the 89 trying to make a pass on Tyler Chaney in number 1. Still slots in right behind him for the time being. Best battle right now is back right here between 9, 13, 49. The 9 has that preferred line on the inside, but the 49 and the 32 are not only drafting partners but teammates. Expect them to not be too aggressive on each other, but right now the 49's already taking a peek to the inside. A little wiggle there, you can see the car doesn't quite want to rotate. That does allow the 9 to clear for the time being, but right now he is pretty tight on the quarter panel of the 32. as those guys get it figured out. Now the 9's looking to work on the number 60 of Chad Winstead. 40 of Colton Gardner right now trying to make a move on the 91 of Adrian Hill. Still a great battle towards the front of the field as well. You take a quick look as we pan over. You can see the 18 still fighting off the 24 pretty hard. Saw these two kind of going at it last week, although we were turning right and left at the road course. Great battle nonetheless between these two as they fought it out. Both of them fell to the back of the field at one point, but both worked their way back up to top 10s both. Now when we're just turning left here at Texas Motor Speedway, we'll have to see what kind of battles I can put on tonight as the 24 takes an early look to the inside. It's also important to note these trucks generate a lot of downforce. Those giant spoilers on the back of them, a lot of airflow coming off the back of those things, and so you'll notice going into turn 1, some of these drivers might try to pull a slightly different entrance into the corner than the car in front of them, just to get that clean air on their nose to avoid getting aero tight and washing up the racetrack, potentially running into the wall. First part of a run, you can kind of just overwork the truck to make the car turn, but the more you do that, the more wear it puts on your tires, and tire wear will start to be a factor, like I said, especially once we get past 25 or so laps. You'll start to see those runs generated a lot better by the guys that have a little bit better tires. Back towards the little bit farther back, the 40 is trying to make hay, as right now he's working the two in front of him. Doesn't quite have the momentum for the time being to get the pass done, but a little farther back to the 91. Trying to go to work on the 60. You can see the 9 behind him, really nowhere to go right now as the 49 makes a dive to his inside. 9 gets a little off on, you can see way out of the racing groove. Great momentum though, you can see, as they're looking 3 wide right now. Is that even possible? They get it sorted out, back to 2 wide. These drivers are using every bit of the racetrack right now to get as many passes done as possible. So that 1 does have some drafting help there with the 49 that allows him to stay even with the 9. Right now, 3 wide on the number 9 car. You got 1-2's inside, 1-2's outside. Lets the car above number 1 of Tyler Chaney go on by for the time being. Right now, the number 9 has fallen to the 10th position. Continues the battle of the 60 of Chad Winstead. Back towards the front, the number 4 has pulled away now by about half a second. He needs to get to about 6 to 7, maybe even 8 tenths to break the draft completely and then really start to stretch the gap. His biggest mover right now has been the 40 of Colton Gardner as he's moved his way all the way to 3rd position. And the Ram, the number 40. A little side-by-side battle right now between the 82 and the number 2 to get it sorted out, but now the 2 is going to be on the inside of his teammate there in the 19 as he washes up just a little bit. Blocks the number 19. I'm sure the pole sitter did not appreciate that move. Still a great battle right now as the 19 continues to fall back bit by bit. He's starting to get trapped on that outside groove and isn't quite able to make the momentum work. "15 laps in, the tires are starting to show their wear. As even the leader of Dawson Buchanan, his gap to the 2nd place has shrunk. Now just 3 tenths. As you can see, he's taking a little bit wider of an entrance. I'd have to imagine that is burning his tires up. Put a lot of wear, more wear on that right front tire, causing that truck to start to shift more to the tight side of things. take a look at the car behind him. We'll see if I can explain what I'm talking about. You can see he peaks his nose just a little bit lower than that 4 car on the edge of the corner. Like I said, allowing the air to hit the front of your nose, allowing the car to turn a little bit better. There are times where you want downforce and there's other times you don't. Into the corner is one of those times you want your car to be able to turn down the track a little bit. But on the exit of the corner, you really don't want too much downforce because then it can make your car trend tight, and that's when you end up having contact with the wall. As I mentioned at the start of this broadcast, the best way to pass someone is just to apply pressure and make them make a mistake. As there's some pressure being applied right now between the 19 and the number 1. As you can see that pass right now going on. Big battle behind them right now. See that giant pack there with the 9 in the middle of it between the 60. 3 wide right now between the 60 and the 89. Get it sorted out to be 2 by 2. Still very tight battle between all those cars. Connor Future pole sitter still sitting P7 right now. Just to fight with the number 1 cars. These cars starting to get too wide, but you can see back there, I mean, there's just a huge battle. 49, 32, the 8, I mean, a lot of cars right there. 3 wide, not too much farther back. 28 tries to make a move on the 49. He's going to have the momentum for the time being. Will be side by side going into the corner. He's almost forced into the grass there. And the momentum is enough for all those cars to get cleared for the time being. Still an absolute mess right there. Those are 3 wide once again. The one decides to slot in for the time being. 91 slides up just a little bit. 91 is new this season, Aiden O'Neill. Teammates with the 19 as well as the 2 car. That makes up the Blue Ridge Racing organization. See 3 wide battles still going on right now. The 89 was really get himself clear of all this right now. The 9 slides up in front of the 91. Cleared himself right there. Aggressive, but how much tire wear is in effect, you got to be as aggressive as you can. As the 9's now hanging on the back quarter panel of the number 60 car. Trying to side draft and drag him back. You can see that side draft works right there for the time being. See how deep the 9's sitting in the corner. Still side by side. 60 will have him clear on exit though. This is that car just really drives tight off of turn 2. Huge move there. So makes contact. 9 goes up the track. Way out of the racing groove. Huge contact there between the 9. I'm not sure who that was. It looked like Harrison Santos, who's 1 lap down. It was Harrison Santos, who was 1 lap down. I doubt the 9 appreciated that very much, as he's falling all the way back to 16th after that contact. Back towards the front, there's still a great battle right now between these 4 or 5 cars. 40 has fallen back to 4th, being passed by the number 3. By the number 2, I'm sorry, and the number 82 now. Jacob Barker and the number 82, Tyler Rouse. These 2 cars, really 3rd all the way back, is long gone right now. 1st and 2nd have kind of cleared themselves by about 2 seconds between them and the rest of the pack. The 0.3 of a second lead for the number 4 car for the time being. Like I mentioned, that draft is your ally. Whenever you lose said draft, as you can see, the car in 3rd just way off pace compared to these front 2. It'd be hard to get it back to catch up to these 2, but like I mentioned, we need about 5 to 10 more laps before we're in our fuel window to make it the whole way. So it'll be a little early to start making pit stops, but we'll have to see. Good battle right now between the 2 and his teammates. You can see these guys are still fighting it out. Harrison Santos there in the 28. Kind of causing some problems for some of these drivers as he is lapped down, but he's trying to unlap himself the old-fashioned way, make his way through the field. But causing problems for these guys nonetheless as they try to make their way back to the field. Now some other cars have to deal with this. Tyler Chaney, you can see, looks ahead at Colton Gardner, who is now having to work by that lap traffic. He slots in right behind the 28. Give him a big shove right there. Probably doesn't appreciate these lap traffic guys driving like they are. A lot of racing left to do though. Still over half this thing full, call it, so. Some of these drivers a little bit farther back in the field, I'm sure they would love to see a caution right now. These drivers like the 911, the 8, and the 88 are all about 14 to 16 seconds off the pace. They will be getting lapped here in a bit. Probably the next 10 or so laps before we get to the first pit stop. So they'd probably like to see this field bunch back up before we get to the end of this thing, but we'll have to see how it all shakes out. There's still a big battle right now between a lot of these cars. The one now makes a look to the inside of the 40. Still side by side at the start finish line. 19 doing a great job of rebounding back to 6th after he fell back to 10th at one point. See between his left cars, the 19's teammate a little bit farther back. You can see the 2 car fighting side by side. Will clear his teammate of the 2 for the time being. Is trying to get back into the right side of things. And he's got about a second and a half before he gets to the car in front of him, Chris Fuge. And Chris himself is about 8 tenths out of the draft, about 3 tenths out of the draft, about 8 tenths out from the cars in front of him. As you can see, they're all in a line up there in front of him. 40 finally found his way back to the bottom of the racetrack. I'm sure that's where he'd prefer to be. Best way to save tires and best way to cut off any side drafting opportunities. You see the 82 makes a big lunge right there to try to side draft what he could. You can see the 1 car now leading this second pack. So it's 3 wide, a little bit farther back. Still 3 wide. Big cars, a lot of cars loose back there, and the 60 goes wide. Oh, there's a wreck. Caution is out. Let's see who that is falling through the field. It was the 82 of Tyler Rouse. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. Looks like contact between him and the 19. Looking 3 wide. A teammate below. There might have been a little contact between the 2 that shot the 19 up. Nonetheless, see the 82 go around there. If you go through the grass and come back on track, they have to throw the caution. There's huge contact there between him and the 32. You can see right there that clips the 32. Just nowhere to go as he comes up, and we have liftoff. Yeah, 32 went airborne. See if he collects anybody else. Let's take a look at the 32 at the time of caution. We'll have to see if he collects anybody else in this. Does not, but that right front is torn to pieces. As soon as they start to get it figured out. We are within our pit window. I imagine these cars are going to come down and get their tires. Safe to say 4 tires will be the call. The for those guys that were struggling a little bit farther back, this is exactly what they were looking for, to try to get this thing back on an even playing ground and bunch this field back up. If you're the 4 car in the 18, it's probably not what you wanted to see, as they were starting to pull away from the rest of the field, but there was one car that you saw stay out there, but that was the 28 trying to get his lap back. He should be the lefty dog candidate. As we take a look at pit lane exit, exit, we'll see that's the 32 rolling off right there, just getting what damage you can fix. But right now we'll see who rolls off pit road first and see who will be leading us to green by the time this thing goes back around. As you can see, the first car is rolling there already. We'll have to see who that might be. Looks like the 4 got it. The 1 with a great pit stop maintained 3rd position. We'll have to see who all shakes out when they do. See if we can't grab the 40. Let's see what's on his mind. Colton Gardner, this is John Miles in the booth. You got me? Well, you got caught in a little bit of a battle back there, really fighting for 3rd place, and the front 2 cars were able to pull away. Really, what's the game plan going for this next, I guess, half of the race? Kind of split this thing kind of down the middle, but what's the plan to try to get clear, and do you have anything for those front 2 cars that kind of drove away there?
I want to just try and save tires as good as I can, but also try and be aggressive. It's been a lot of fun out here, being able to drive out through the field and everything.
Talk to me a little bit about that. You were the biggest mover for this last run, having to move your way from dang near towards the midfield up towards the top 3, top 5. How is the truck feeling whenever you're coming underneath someone or trying to pass someone? Is it getting tight on you, getting loose, or how's it feeling?
Super, especially off of turn 2, so that's going to be something to watch out for a lot of people. But as the tires warm up, it drives like a dream for a little bit, and then they get a little too much heat in them, and it's a little tight. They hit the balance sheets.
Got to hit the balance right. I hear that. I appreciate taking the time to talk to me. Good luck for this next run.
Yes, sir. Thank you for what you do.
That was Colton Gardner, who will be restarting there. You can see him in the 40. We'll have to see what he's got for the rest of this field. As the pace car rolls off the 4, we'll take us back to green. As they enter the restart zone, and green flag is out. Does clear the 18 a little bit farther back. We'll see how the rest of the field got going. Still very tight. The 18 seems to be able to get himself clear as well, so expect those 2 to start battling it out once again. The 6 is getting loose. You can see him really loose there on the bottom of the racetrack. As we're 3 wide way back there. A little bit farther back, it's JP Jones in the 82 as well. Getting started out to just be too wide. Already the second pack has started to warm up with this front top 10, trying to get themselves worked out and separated. Continue to try to work to get everything out. Tyler Chaney right now trying to make a move on the 18. Big slide there to the 18, saved it. But you can see that momentum that has caused for the 1 car to pull up right on his bumper there. 3 wide a little bit farther back between Jacob Barker, Colton Gardner, and all those guys back there. Once again got it sorted out, but man, these guys are racing hard. Still side by side right now, as you can see the 2 continuing to work. You'll notice the 40 will try to get as low as he can especially towards the exit of the corner to see if he can't dump any dirty air onto the back spoiler of the two. It wasn't quite close enough that time to do it, but that can cause extra downforce on the back end of your car, which will slow you down. Side drafting is a fancy word we call it, but number 40 is one of the best at doing it, but you can tell he wants to get towards his pack and not let those drivers just drive away with it, as it looks like right now what he's trying to do. Let me take a look back at the front. Dawson Buchanan has cleared himself now by about 2/10. Hunter Hughes really isn't going anywhere quite yet, with Tyler Chaney still in the draft of the car in front of him, but right now he has a teammate of Tyler Legal Victor right there behind him. Have to see how long he can hold them off. See the close battle is back here for what would be the 6th position. You can see the 9 makes him dive to the inside as they are 3 wide right now. Flips that white line, which causes him to get a little tight. See the outside, there's that side draft I was talking about. Super treacherous to go through here, 3 wide. Very tight quad oval as they continue to be 3 wide. See if these drivers can get it figured out. As the 2 dives back in the bottom of the racetrack, 40 isn't quite clear. Got cleared that time. 9, a big move right there, moved him all the way up from battling for 10th all the way up to 6th. As now Colton Gardner continues to fight with all these cars. They continue to try to drive by. Does not want to get stuck on that outside as we have a pass for the lead. Hunter Hughes has taken it from Dawson Buchanan. Must have just happened. Quite possibly a slip up from the number 4 car. Truck, more accurately. As we watch the leader, we're going to take a quick look at a different series that he races in, the Indy Racing World Series. Coming to the end of things as we hit Indianapolis next week, next Tuesday, so stay tuned for that as we see the second to last race of the season, followed by Michigan. Cash Jackson Lambros on the booth for that. For the Wednesday side of things, for the rest of this year's schedule, you can see right now at Texas Motor Speedway to catch us next week at Daytona for some good old drafting at the Super Speedway. There you can see the rest of the schedule. I don't want to spend too much time because there's a great battle going on throughout the track, so we'll get through all this stuff. Take screenshots if you want, but really great schedule. Happy to end this thing at Kansas Speedway as well. Favorite track of mine, and all the drivers love to do it as well. When it comes to the GT Sprint Series, not a whole lot going on for at least a little while. The next one being June 5th, so a little bit of waiting before we head to Watkins Glen, but that is free for everyone to join, so if you want to get involved in our league in any way, shape, or form, it's the best way to do it. Completely free to enter. Hop on in, meet some of the guys. For our Monday schedule, just wrapped up Iowa 2 days ago. Great battle throughout the entire field. But then we are heading to Charlotte, not next Monday, but the following Monday, so make sure to catch that for the season finale. Pretty much Garrett Jarnigan in the 32 just to start the race, and he wins it, but the battle for second right now is anyone's guess. Canon 9 of Jackson Milne, who drives a 24 on Mondays. Can he hold on to second place? Stay tuned to find out. Still a bunch of great battles going on throughout the field. Take a look, see who's closest down right now. I got a 77 making a pass on the 91. JP Jones, another car trying to make a move. Got a teammate of the 49 right in front of him. Very uncharacteristic of the 49. Normally we see that group have a lot more speed out of the car and have the medium tracks. Very possible could have missed the setup. The 40 trying to still track down the 9. These two cars have caught though the 60 of Chad Winstead. Old season champ. I believe he's back for another part-time season this season as well. But yeah, it's good to see old faces returning to the league. But as you can imagine, he isn't quite finding the groove quite yet, as the 9 and the 40 both are starting to track him down. Just in front of the 60 car as well is the 24. And the 24 is right on the back bumper of the 1, who's right on the back bumper of the front 2 cars. So you have to imagine that these cars are all within leapfrog distance of each other, thinking time nose runs up right with the draft. This is the 4 running a little bit higher of a lane there than he normally runs. Searching for that clean air. Seeing where his car might be a little bit better than the 18. Still 25 laps in the race left. See that time he starts to close the gap right there on the entrance to the corner as he does peak down low for this entrance, going back to his preferred lane. Isn't going to quite have him clear. They're really tight on each other. Little side drafting possibly going on. You can see right there. As of course sends it back to the inside. Touches that white line with his car a little loose. Kind of the gas a little bit. If you're the 1 car, this is exactly what you want to see, is that gap between first and third is closed up tremendously as these two continue to fight it out. If you're sitting in third, this is your perfect opportunity to try to make a pass, especially on the back stretch or the front stretch, if you can time this thing perfectly. If you're the 18, this is not what you want to see either, because on that outside groove, you're burning just a little bit more tires than 1. The 18 does clear himself back in front of the 4 for the time being. Rubber starts to get laid down on the track, that first and a half to second groove starts becoming a little bit more viable, especially on the exit corners. You can see you just start to pull away. So before has a little slide there on entrance, you can see that's going to cost him as the 1 starts to pull up. The 1's already making a move, trying to peak. A little bit of contact. Was not clear. That 4 car tried to slide in front of him. The 1 hit 0 brakes. As the 4 continues to fall throughout the field. Meanwhile, he missed the 40, got back by the 9. Wasn't quite clear, and the 1 was not lifting. As Tyler Chaney has moved back up to third. We're back up to second, but 4/10 behind the leader. 4 car has slotted himself back in the 3rd position, single file. Have to imagine with the draft he will be able to catch back up with the 1 car, but needs to make quick work of him, otherwise the 18 might get by. The handling on that race car though is starting to get a little tight. As you can see, all those cars start bouncing off the wall there. As the 60 makes a dive to the inside. After the 24 made contact with the wall. It's just these cars starting to drive more and more tight. This battle back here has really closed up quite a bit. Not a lot of places for the 40 or the 9 to go. You can see they get the run, but then they have to check up pretty hard. There's not a whole lot of real estate left on the edges of the corner. As the 1 now makes a move for the lead. It's in front of the 18. Has enough ponies to get by him, but the 4 car with a big run there himself. You can see he's running back up for the 18. As your new leader for the first time tonight of the 1 car, Tyler Chaney. So 4 takes a look at the inside of the racetrack. Once again back to his preferred groove as he slides in front of the 18. Very aggressive move once again. The 18 was nice enough to let him go though. A bigger break than the 1 car did earlier in the run. That move though has cost him 100 views at quite a bit as the 60s now to his inside. Those 2 are teammates for this season. How nice they play together. Really unfortunate for the 18 as he got moved a little bit out of the racing groove. You can see just that momentum that the track can carry. As I mentioned, just driver mistakes or forced driver mistakes when they get into you that can be the difference between staying ahead of someone or getting passed by maybe even a couple cars. You can see the 40 now works his way to the inside of the 18. We'll have to see if he has enough to get around him. Still stays side by side for the time being in that draft of the 60 in front of the 18 is going to allow him to clear for the time being, as you can see. 40 very aggressive getting into the corner there, though. A little slip from the bottom of the racetrack, which allows the 24 to pull up to him. A little bit farther back throughout the rest of the pack, there's a big gap between all the rest of these cars. You can see they have lost the draft. So now the 89 is on a solo adventure, along with Chris Fuge in the 49 has got a second to Matt Faust. He's got a second to Jax Millen, who's in the back of this front pack. But you can see the rest of these cars are still very close together. But really that gap might be too much without the help of the draft. Big contact there with the 24 at the wall. Smokes it on the edge of the corner. Still feels better for the lead right now. Chad Winstead has solidified his place in third for the time being. And right now there is about 7 tenths between Buchanan and Chad right now in the 60. Depends on when this 4 can time this run up, but if he can get the pass done, it shouldn't allow the 60 to catch back up to them. But that pass is not going to be easy. And how aggressive is the 4 when it comes to passing the 1 as well? The 1, our current season points leader, has a hefty gap over the rest of the field. 21 points over that car behind him in the 4. The 4 is trying to return to victory lane. Hasn't been there since last season. But trying to return to victory lane to try to bite into that points gap that that car in front of him, the 1 of Tyler Chaney, has. Seems to be stronger in turns 3 and 4, but that 1 car can just pull away coming out of turn 2. Leads me to believe that that 4 car is battling pretty tight. We'll have to see if he can make the adjustments inside the car to get this pass done. As the rest of the field has started to become single file, most of the cars about 2 tenths to 4 tenths. This one's 9 car about 4 tenths back. Big gap though between him and the 89. So the 89 now has his hands full with the 49. The big gap between that, about 1.5 seconds between them and the 49. So these two are battling it out, and there's about 2 seconds between them and the 9. 9's about 6 tenths behind the 24. All of this front pack is pretty close together. Coming up on 10 laps to go at the line. Let's see if there's any moves left in the bank to get this done. A little loose there on exit, you can see. Just overdrove the car. A little squirrely. First time I think we've seen a race car loose. Has caused that gap to increase. You can see how big of an effect that draft has. Even with a mistake, the 4 car was able to catch back up to the 1. That top groove just is not working though. As you can see, the gap has stretched to about half a tenth of a second just within that lap, or within that corner. But the 1's doing a great job of running that preferred groove, even almost half a lane lower, having those tires on that white line. We'll see if he does it this time by. But that's the preferred groove. You can see the 4 wants to run the bottom of the racetrack, but when the 1's right there in front of him, just dumping all that dirty air on the front of the car. Gets that car so tight to where it's hard to turn. So he's trying to peek his nose out and get as much clean as he can to help that car rotate, but the one's doing a great job of playing great defense right now. A little bit farther back, the 49 has passed the 89 on track. Pulled away by about 2/10 right now. Slot him into the 8th position. Jackson on the 9 has started to lose the draft here, as he's falling back to about 7/10 and it's falling quickly. Top 3 have really separated themselves out, and I take a look at it between first and second. The difference between first and second third is about the same. You can kind of see Chad Winstead back there, and the number 60 not too far behind him. But the 40 to the 18 and the 24 kind of in a league of their own right now. Gonna have 5 laps to go at the line. Here we go, coming out of turn 4. As the 4 goes in the wall right there, you can see that contact. Gonna allow the 60 now to make a move to the inside. If you're the one car, this is exactly what you want to see. As now these two fighting is going to allow you to pull away even that much more. Draft of the 1 is going to help the 60 though complete this pass, or at least maintain with the 4. 4's have to get a little bit more aggressive if he wants to clear the 60. You have to pinch him that much lower on the racetrack. Pretty good job there. See that top groove is just not quite as dominant as that bottom groove. Big wiggle there out of the 18. Saves it. See a little bit farther back. Does get offline, but does save the car. About had a big wreck there. See these two continue to fight it out, but while this is going on, that leader's already pulled away by about 0.6 of a second. If he gets too far out there, his caution is out, potentially. Saw the lights flash briefly. Yes. Caution is out. Not sure what happened. JP Jones on pit road. We'll see if we can't find a replay of what happened there. Nothing there. There it is. See what happened. Just shot up the racetrack. Not sure what happened there. Just not sure if a wheel disconnected or what, but that was not normal. Touches the white line, but just gets shot below the racetrack in an odd fashion. If you're the 1 car, you're not exactly pleased right now, as he was starting to drive away with this thing. This will probably head into overtime. A little reminder for you all, we have 3 green-white checkered overtime attempts. We follow the same format that NASCAR follows as well. So that means we're only going to try this 3 times, but how overtime works is it's going to be a 2-lap shootout after the drivers have the option to pit. During those 2 laps, if we get a caution before the driver takes the white flag with 1 to go, we'll re-rack them for the 2nd time. If the white flag does come out, then whoever is in first at the time of the white flag and the caution flag is your winner. We will try overtime 3 times at most, but we'll see if any drivers elect to take 2 tires here. So let's take a look at pit road exit. Chaney was the first one in, but we'll have to see. Everyone does elect to stay. Everyone does elect to pit, so no fancy surprises. As you can see, those cars starting to roll off. 4-car leading them. Where is the 1 car? One car back in 7th. You have to wonder if there's some 2-tire stops there. As we try to get this figured out. I have to imagine there might have been some people that just elected for 2 tires. You can see Brian McKinney there in the 8. I believe he is the lucky dog candidate, so he will be going by these leaders here in a bit. Let's see if we can't talk to Hunter Hughes really quick. Hunter Hughes, this is John Miles in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yep, I got you.
Well, you got battling for the lead there for most of this race, led several laps, got used up by the damn 4 car, of course. You were nice enough to cut him a break, I think. But now we have an overtime, one more shot at this. I'm not sure if you guys got 4 tires or 2 tires. It seems like an awfully fast pit stop. But nonetheless, strategy's got you back into this game with the help of a caution. How aggressive is too aggressive going into this maybe the last restart, but maybe we get another one?
Well, I believe we all took 2 tires, but I'm a little worried about that 8 car because he stayed out. And he's on 42-lap old tires, so we might be getting another caution again here soon. But the strategy is just go as hard as I possibly can, and I'm not lifting until I see God or the checkered flag.
It's a good strategy to have, especially when I thought he was the lucky dog. That's why I thought he was staying out, but I guess not. So, yeah, good luck. Hopefully you all can get around him. It seems to be in the preferred lane to do so, but good luck out there, and hope to be talking to you at the end of this thing.
All right, thank you.
That was Hunter Hughes. You can see him starting there right now behind the number 4 car. Brian McKinney in the 8 did not take tires, so he is on 40-lap scuffs. You have to imagine, like he said, it's going to be hard for that car to get rolling that bottom lane. Just watch it. It's going to get checked up pretty hard. We're going to keep an eye on that 18 car. Just to see how he gets through this thing. The 8 will have control, but as soon as he hits the gas, the 4 car is allowed to accelerate, so we'll have to see how much better of an acceleration it can get. As the green flag is out, they are rolling. You can see that's a huge stack up there. As the cars don't quite get rolling. There's a couple cars through the grass. The 60's through the grass. There's another car around. We're probably going to see the caution flag again. There it is. Caution's out. The 8 was able to stay in the lead. I have to imagine he'd pit this time. He's kind of a liability sitting out there. Is a big loser of that wreck is the number 89. We'll have to see how he got through the wreck, or lack thereof. As you can see, there's huge damage on the car. Just gets, actually not a part of it, just gets turned there by the 82. Not quite sure what the plan there was out of Tyler Rouse, but they were well clear of the wreck. But you can see just absolutely turns from there to the corner. So we'll have to come and pit for damage repair. One car and innocent bystander in that as well. Take a look at the 8 this time by and see if he elects to come down pit road. He does not. He's staying out once again. The outside groove did not get the jump that I thought it would. There was a huge stack up there. It's important to note the 4 cannot go till the 8 goes, and so it's very possible the 8 just didn't get going and the 4 just stacked up his line as well. I don't believe pit road's too busy. Take a look. A couple cars electing to come pit. I'm sure those were ones that were in the wreck coming to fix damage. Really unfortunate. A lot of good cars taken out in that were fighting within the top 10, but unfortunately, he might not have a shot at tonight, as one of those cars being Chad Winstead in the number 60 car. You saw him going through the grass there for a little bit. Let's see, he's still on the exit of pit road, rolling that thing around. Not quite sure what's going on. He's about to get lapped by the rest of the field. Matt Fast with a brand new truck, rolling out, but he'll be restarting 20th after being in the top 10 for most of the day. This is the second attempt at overtime. Like I mentioned, we have 3 attempts at this thing. After the third one gets rolling, we'll have one more time for a caution. After that, they'll just race back to the start-finish line. Unless it's a giant wreck on the front stretch, and they'll just end the race how it is. So, important to note, the trucks have to be able to race their way back to the line. If they have damage, then they are also forfeited. So we'll have to see how well these drivers can do it. I'm not going to steal anyone for interviews this time. We'll just let them do their thing. To everyone tuning on the broadcast, we do appreciate you spending your Wednesday night with us. It's been an eventful race to say the least. Appreciate all of you being involved in the YouTube live chat. Pace lights are off. They will be rolling green this time by for their second attempt at overtime. Let's see how well the 8 gets to jump. I'm sure the 18's going to be shoving as hard as he can, does not want to be stuck in the bottom. And green flag is out. Much better start throughout the rest of the field, as everyone's still rolling here. A lot of guys with new tire, or 2 tires. So 4 tries to get himself clear, not quite clear yet. Is clear now. New guy towards the front is with a lot of contact there behind. They're 4 wide right now. Not a lot of places to go. The 9's wrecking. They're all wrecking. Huge wreck there as they race back to the line. A lot of engines destroyed. We are going to race back to the line, though, for the final lap. Let's see where these cars finish out. But Dawson Buchanan, after a season of waiting, back in victory lane. Hunter Hughes finished second. Colton Gardner rounds out your top 3. Great rebound night out of the 49 of Chris Refuge, who finished 5th tonight. A lot of cars in that big wreck. Expect to see that on the Crash of the Week on the Instagram page. As the 4 takes it here at Texas Motor Speedway. Quick burnout. Didn't look like anything too fancy. Take a look at the results. Dawson Buchanan finished in P1. Hunter Hughes finished P2. Colton Gardner P3. Tyler Lugo victory P4. Chris Fuge P5. Matt Faust, after getting wrecked and with a brand new race car, rallies back to P6. DJ Flux 7th, Nick Warboy 8th, Tyler Chaney finishing 9th. Bill Molefield wraps up your top 10. And there you can see the rest of the cars for the rest of your field. That should be just about everyone. As we have everybody in the booth now, we're going to go ahead and start with Colton Gardner. Colton, we talked to you a little bit earlier in the race. Kind of back there battling towards the back end of the top 5, but found yourself in the right spot at the right time to capitalize on a P3 finish. Tell me, after the first 2 races of Wednesday Night Dash maybe not being how you expected them to go, how does it feel to rebound back to where you should belong here in the podium?
Feels pretty good, but I also feel like I got really lucky, especially with that caution there at the end. I can't believe the restart that we had. I knew we had to really work hard to try and get by McKinney because we had so many caution laps. I think his tires hadn't cooled down enough to where he could hold pace for a little bit, but the second his tires got heat in them, like he just dropped like a rock. But yeah, it's really cool to finally be back up here.
We're glad to have you back up here, but we'll keep it short. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we kick it off to second?
Yeah, I want to thank all the Smoky Mountain boys, everybody out there. I want to thank Jiffy Lube that's on the truck tonight, and Outlier Speed Co. French Broad Fire and Rescue, they were on Chris's truck tonight. And all my sponsors and all my partners and everybody that watches, and thank you for the broadcast.
Of course. With that, we'll kick it off to second place. Hunter, I feel like we just talked, and it was almost for a bit worst case scenario as the guy with old tires started right in front of you, but you're able to get by him. What's the mindset after having a failed restart after that first one, but then when the second one comes, you have to start behind somebody on 45 lap tires? What's going through your mind in that moment?
You know, I was just like, just don't spin, just don't spin, just don't spin. And he kept it straight. But yeah, I made a bit of a ballsy move there, taking it 3 wide to the inside. But you know, that's the kind of things you gotta do to get the results that you need here. But yeah, heck of a race. You know, it feels good to be running up front again. You know, the first couple of weeks been kind of mid-pack. You know, just scraping by, but it feels good to be up here in the podium again.
Yeah, speak to that a little bit. I know you had kind of a rough start last week at the road course, but rallied to finish better than what I think a lot of people expected after you drove through pretty much the entire field to get back in a competitive spot. Talk to me about the mindset whenever it comes to having a battle. There's several battles tonight as well, but tell me, how do you keep level-headed in a situation like this?
You know, the biggest thing is just trying to just stay calm. It's easy to get over over in your own head. When I was leading there, and then when I dropped back to 5th in like 3 laps, I was kind of starting to get agitated, but then I got saved by the caution. So, you know, I was able to use that to kind of calm myself down, and the 2-stop strategy, or the 2-tire strategy that we did, made us gain a couple of positions. So yeah, all in all, a good race.
All in all, a good race. Great momentum, especially going into the super speedway, as everyone needs a little bit of luck. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we kick it off to the winner?
You know, just the SMR crew, Outlier Speed Co. I had them on the side of my truck today. You know, everyone back, and make sure to go buy some merch at smrshop.store. Yeah, and that'll be all.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and with that, we will kick it over to tonight's race winner, the number 4 truck. Dawson, up and down night to say the least. There's a couple times where you started to fall back towards the field. Looked like some tight racing, especially off the turn 2. Seemed to be giving a lot of people trouble, but you ended up getting through all the mess and getting yourself back up. How hard was it to time up those restarts when someone to your inside was on, like I said, 45 lap tires?
Yeah, well, the first restart there at the end was I didn't know what to expect. I was hoping he just didn't spin out, and he went super late in the box. So I figured when the caution came out and I got that chance to do it over again that he was probably going to go really late, and I just timed it perfectly. Like as soon as the green flag dropped, I was already on the gas, so it worked out perfect. And then yeah, I was able to go around him on the outside in turn one and bring it home P1.
Kind of a similar question that I asked Hunter, but there was a couple times there to where you might have been falling a little farther back than you kind of originally planned on. I know that you, especially you, like to tire save, especially at a track like this where tires can actually make the difference towards the end of the run. So what's your mindset going into something like that whenever you're starting to lose positions but also know you have to keep a draft at the same time?
Yeah, it was really tough there at the end of the long run that we had there at the end of the race. I definitely didn't save as much tires as I wish I would have. It's so hard. The dirty air is just so bad now, and if you ride behind somebody, your front tires just take off and you burn the right front. And yeah, I was ready to bring it home P3 there and not speak to you as a winner. So thankfully, those cautions fell my way though, and we were able to get the JM Motorsports UNC Charlotte Chevrolet in victory lane.
Cautions came out, but you were the best when it came to capitalizing on it. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we end the broadcast?
Yeah, shout out obviously JM Motorsports, U Miles, Lane, Jax, Matt, everybody who raced tonight. One other thing that I have to say, I had 0.6 laps of fuel left in the car. I ran out of fuel doing a burnout, so very glad that caution didn't come out. But yeah, anyways, yeah, thank you to everybody who puts it on Wednesdays and you for broadcasting, Miles.
And with that, we will wrap it up here at Texas Motor Speedway. We appreciate everyone tuning in to the broadcast for tonight's race. Don't forget to catch next week at Tuesday for IndyCar, heading to somewhere, I think Indianapolis. And then after that, back here on Wednesday, Jackson Lambro should be back in the booth for all that good stuff. But like I mentioned earlier, this has been John Miles signing off in the booth. Thank you all for joining.